Picture this, my friend. It's 2:47 a.m. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. Your body is exhausted, but your mind is running a marathon through every conversation you had today. That comment your boss made, the way she looked at you when you said that thing. What did she mean by it? What were the 17 possible interpretations? And what should you have said instead? You replay it again and again, each time finding a new angle, a deeper meaning, another layer you missed. This is your gift, isn't it? Your ability to see what others don't, to think deeper, to understand the complexity of things, while everyone else just coasts through life on autopilot. Society celebrates you. You're so introspective, they say. You're such a deep thinker. The world told you this was intelligence, that your constant mental churning meant you were evolved, more aware, more conscious than the shallow masses who just act without thinking. But here's what nobody told you, brother. Your brain isn't helping you see deeper. It's building you a prison cell, and you're both the architect and the inmate. You've been lied to. The depth you think is wisdom, it's fear wearing a philosopher's mask. The analysis you think is preparation, it's paralysis dressed up as prudence. And the worst part? You can't even see it, because the trap is made of your own thoughts. Welcome to the psychology of people who think too deeply. What I'm about to tell you will either set you free or make you realize you've been locked in your own mind for years. Chapter 2. The biological truth. The caveman's curse. Let me take you back. Way back. 50,000 years ago, your ancestor is standing at the edge of the savannah. He hears a rustling in the tall grass. His mind immediately starts calculating. Is it the wind? A predator? Should I run? Should I stay? What if I run and it's nothing? What if I stay and it's a lion? The ones who thought about it survived. The ones who didn't, they became dinner. Your brain, my friend, is hardwired for this. Evolution built you to anticipate threats, to replay scenarios, to analyze every variable before acting. This wasn't a bug, it was a feature. The anxious caveman who overthought every decision lived long enough to pass on his genes. And congratulations, you inherited them. But here's the problem. Your amygdala, that ancient alarm system in your brain, doesn't know the difference between a lion in the grass and Linda from accounting giving you a weird look during the meeting. It triggers the same stress response, the same cortisol flood, the same mental loop. Your prefrontal cortex, designed to process immediate danger, now spends its processing power analyzing why your text message didn't get a response for 47 minutes. Dr. Marcus Reichler's research on the default mode network showed us something fascinating and terrifying. When you're not actively focused on a task, your brain doesn't rest. It activates what neuroscientists call the default mode network, a circuit that generates self-referential thought. In other words, when you're doing nothing, your brain starts running simulations, creating scenarios, building hypothetical problems. And here's the kicker. Each hypothetical scenario triggers real emotional responses. Your body can't tell the difference between an imagined catastrophe and an actual one. So you sit on your couch, physically safe, while your nervous system treats every overthought as an existential threat. You're living in a permanent state of emergency over situations that haven't happened and probably never will. The same biology that kept your ancestors alive is now keeping you awake, anxious, and absolutely paralyzed. Chapter 3. The mechanism. The loop of madness. Let me show you how the trap actually works, brother. Stage 1. You notice something. A pattern. A problem. An inconsistency. Your girlfriend says, "I'm fine," in a particular tone. Your brain flags it, something's off. Stage 2. Your mind creates scenarios. Maybe she's upset about yesterday, or maybe it's about that thing from last week, or maybe she's questioning the entire relationship. Your brain generates 10 possible explanations in 30 seconds. Stage 3. Each scenario generates emotions. Anxiety for possibility 1, guilt for possibility 2, defensive anger for possibility 3. Your body responds to each one, as if it's real. Stage 4. Those emotions create new scenarios. If she's questioning the relationship, what does that mean about your future? Should you bring it up? What if you're wrong? What if bringing it up causes the problem that doesn't exist yet? Stage 5. You're now thinking about thinking. Welcome to the default mode network trap. And here's the part that makes it diabolical. Your brain rewards this behavior. Every time you generate an insight, every time you find a new angle or make a connection, your brain releases a small hit of dopamine. That neurochemical pat on the back that says, good job, you're being smart. So you keep doing it. You mistake mental motion for forward movement. You feel productive while being completely paralyzed. It's the psychological equivalent of running on a treadmill and calling it a journey. Case study. I knew a guy, let's call him Marcus, brilliant software engineer, could see 13 steps ahead in any problem. His coworkers called him a genius. But Marcus couldn't decide which apartment to rent for 9 months. Not because the options were complex, because he could see every possible outcome of every choice.
Apartment A was closer to work, which meant more sleep, which meant better health, which meant more productivity, which meant faster career advancement. But it was also near a busy street, which meant noise, which meant worse sleep, which negated the commute benefit, which meant
he lived in a hotel for 9 months, paying triple the rent, because he was too smart to make a decision. This is what I'm talking about, my friend. The mechanism isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed, but it's designed for a world that no longer exists. Your brain is running Windows 95 in a world that requires you to operate at the speed of now. Chapter 4. The warning signs. The mirror of recognition. You know you're caught in this. You can explain 47 reasons why something won't work before you try it once. You've already lived the failure in your mind. You've seen every way it could go wrong. So why bother? Why risk confirming what you already know? But here's what you don't realize. You don't actually know. You've just convinced yourself you do. You have full conversations with people in your head, then react to their imagined responses in real life. She hasn't even said anything yet, but you've already had the argument with her, lost the argument with her, and apologized for your behavior in the argument that never happened. So when she actually speaks, you're responding to a ghost conversation she wasn't part of. You read between lines that don't exist. Someone says, "Hey, you seem quiet today," and you hear, "What's wrong with you? Why are you always like this? Why can't you just be normal?" You find hidden meanings in simple statements like you're decoding enemy intelligence. Spoiler alert, brother. Not everything is a code. Sometimes "I'm fine" just means I'm fine. Case study. My friend David, deep thinker, artist type, met a woman at a coffee shop. She gave him her number. He spent 3 days analyzing whether she was genuinely interested or just being polite. Was the smile authentic or social? Did the laugh mean attraction or courtesy? He constructed an entire psychological profile of her based on a 7-minute interaction. By the time he texted her, he'd already determined the relationship wouldn't work because of 17 incompatibilities he'd extrapolated from the way she held her coffee cup. She responded enthusiastically. They went on a date. He spent the entire evening not present, already analyzing whether this would last, whether she was really right for him, whether her comment about her ex meant she wasn't over him, whether there was no second date. Not because it went badly, because he was so busy analyzing it that he forgot to actually be there. You feel exhausted after doing nothing. You sat at your desk all day, barely moved, but you're drained like you ran a marathon, because your mind did run a marathon. Through every possible timeline, every hypothetical scenario, every imaginary problem. People tell you you're thinking too much, and you immediately start thinking about why they said that. Are they dismissing you? Are they right? Should you think less? But how do you think less? Is thinking about thinking less counterproductive? See the loop. Here's the brutal warning sign. You analyze your own analysis. You question whether you're overthinking your overthinking. You're watching yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself. It's psychological inception, my friend. And you're lost somewhere on level 4. Chapter 5. The social conspiracy. The culture that cages you. But this isn't entirely your fault, brother. Because the system knew exactly what it was doing. Modern society has weaponized your depth against you. Think about it. Every self-help guru tells you to be more mindful, to sit with your feelings, to process your emotions. They've convinced you that thinking more about your thoughts is the solution to thinking too much. It's like trying to drink yourself sober. Therapy culture, and I'm not against therapy, I'm against the perversion of it, has turned every emotion into something that needs hours of analysis. You can't just be sad anymore. You have to explore the root cause of your sadness. Track it back to childhood. Understand the mechanism. Identify the trigger. Develop coping strategies. Meanwhile, your grandfather just said, "Life's tough," and built a house with his bare hands. The educational system trained you for this. School didn't reward action. It rewarded analysis. You got A's for dissecting the book, not for writing one. For critiquing the painting, not for painting. They taught you to be a spectator with opinions, not a creator with skin in the game. And social media? It turned introspection into a commodity. Performative depth. People mining their trauma for content. Everyone's a philosopher in their Instagram caption. Everyone's on a journey. But journeys require movement, brother. And you're all standing still just talking about walking. Here's the part that's gonna piss you off. This benefits the system. A population that overthinks is a population that doesn't act. People paralyzed by analysis don't challenge authority. Don't build competing empires. Don't take risks that might shift power structures. They just think about it. The modern world celebrates emotional processing, endless discussion, collaborative deliberation. These aren't inherently bad, but they're catastrophic when they replace action. Especially for men who are biologically wired to build, to do, to conquer. You've been conditioned to seek consensus on decisions only you can make, to value everyone's perspective except your own gut, to believe that caution is wisdom and patience is virtue. But Caesar didn't cross the Rubicon after a committee meeting. Alexander didn't ask for feedback before invading Persia. They decided, then dealt with consequences. The feminine imperative, and I'm not attacking women, I'm describing a cultural shift, has rewritten the rules. The marketplace now rewards those who collaborate over those who dominate, who discuss over those who decree, who process over those who produce. Again, this isn't bad, until it becomes a cage for men who need to build things, lead movements, take territory, literal or metaphorical. You've been taught that your masculine instinct to act decisively is toxic, that speed is recklessness, that confidence is arrogance. So you second guess, you overthink, you wait for perfect information that never comes. And while you're thinking, someone with half your intelligence and twice your audacity is building the empire you're still planning on a napkin. The conspiracy isn't hidden, brother. It's right in front of you. They told you thinking deeply made you better, when really, it just made you slower. And in a world that rewards speed, you're already losing. Chapter 6, The Inevitable Collapse. The day you wake up, one day, you'll wake up.
Not from sleep, from the dream you've been living in your head.
You're 40, or 50, or maybe you're lucky, and it hits you at 30. You look around at your life, actually look at it, and you realize something that makes your stomach drop. You've thought your entire life away. You analyzed 1,000 opportunities, took none of them. That business idea you had at 25, someone else built it. That woman who was interested, she married someone who actually asked her out. That move you were going to make, someone with less preparation and more courage made it instead. You didn't fail. You never even played. You've spent decades understanding everyone's perspective. You can explain why your friend acts that way, why that politician makes that decision, why people do what they do. You're a psychological encyclopedia, but you have no idea who you actually are, because you've been so busy analyzing everyone else's game that you forgot to play your own. Case study. I met a man, we'll call him Thomas, 53 years old, worked the same job for 27 years. Not because he loved it, because he could see all the risks of leaving, the financial uncertainty, the potential for failure, the possibility of regret. He stayed. He was safe. He was smart. Now he sits in his paid-off house, which he also took 12 years to buy, because he wanted the perfect neighborhood, perfect timing, perfect price, and he's surrounded by things he doesn't care about. Living a life he never wanted, married to a woman he settled for because the perfect one never existed outside his head. He has his retirement account, his safety net, his well-analyzed, thoroughly considered, perfectly reasoned life, and he's dead inside. The regret isn't that you made wrong choices, brother. It's that you made no choices at all. You've been a ghost in your own life, present but not participating, watching yourself from inside your head like you're a character in a movie. You're too afraid to direct, and here's what really destroys you. You look around and see people with half your intelligence living twice the life. Not because they're smarter, because they act while you analyze. They're present. You're thinking about being present, which means you're not. The deep thinker dies alone. Not physically, you might be surrounded by people, but utterly, completely alone. Because you never actually connected with anyone. You analyzed them instead, predicted them, prejudged them based on microexpressions and statistical probabilities. You knew everyone theoretically, but connected with no one actually. You built a library of understanding about human nature and forgot to participate in your own humanity. This is the collapse, my friend. The moment you realize your gift was a curse, your intelligence was a cage, your depth was a grave you dug one thought at a time, and you're standing in it, looking up at a life you never lived. Chapter 7. The bitter truth, the uncomfortable mirror. Now I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear, and you're going to want to argue with me. Analyze it, find the exceptions, explain why your situation is different, which will prove my point exactly. Your depth isn't wisdom, brother. It's fear wearing a disguise. Most of your deep thinking is just anxiety with a philosophy degree. You're not being thoughtful. You're being terrified. Every what-if scenario you run isn't preparation. It's avoidance with intellectual window dressing. Your ability to see problems doesn't make you smart. It makes you safe. But safety isn't living. It's just slow death with better risk management. The voice in your head telling you to consider all angles isn't wisdom. It's the same voice that kept you small, kept you quiet, kept you from taking the risks that build empires and forge legends. It's the voice of your fear speaking in your own vocabulary, so you don't recognize it as the enemy. Here's the truth you need tattooed on your brain. Shallow people who act get further than deep people who don't. Read that again. The guy who makes the wrong decision today is ahead of the guy still researching the right one next year. The woman who fails fast and adjusts is lapping you while you're still at the starting line. Perfecting your stride. Perfect is the enemy of done, and you've weaponized perfect as an excuse for never. Your insights mean nothing if they never leave your skull. You're carrying around profound understanding about life, human nature, psychology, philosophy, and it dies with you. You're a library that nobody reads, including yourself. You're not a deep thinker, brother. You're an action avoider. Every moment spent in your head is a moment stolen from your hands. Every hour of analysis is an hour not building. Every perfect plan never executed is just a fairy tale. You told yourself to feel productive while doing nothing. Philosophy without practice is mental masturbation. It feels good in the moment. It gives you a false sense of accomplishment. But it produces nothing, creates nothing, changes nothing. You're confusing motion with progress, depth with action, intelligence with impact, and the world doesn't care about your reasons. It doesn't care how thoughtfully you considered something. It only measures what you actually did. Your tombstone won't say, "Here lies a man who understood everything." It'll say your name and 2 dates. And between those dates is supposed to be a life lived, not a life analyzed. This is the bitter truth, my friend. You've been running from it because accepting it means accepting that years, maybe decades, were spent watching your life instead of living it. But here's the thing about bitter medicine. It only works if you swallow it. Chapter 8. The Solution Framework. The Dangerous Awakening. So what now, brother? You've seen the prison. You've understood the mechanism. You've felt the regret of the life unlived. What the hell do you do about it? First, understand this. The cure for overthinking isn't positive thinking. It's not affirmations or manifestation or any of that spiritual bypassing bullshit. The cure is aggressive action. Rule 1. Kill the analysis. Feed the action. Starting now, you have a 60-second decision rule. If the decision won't literally kill you or destroy your life, you have 60 seconds to make it. Not 60 seconds to decide whether you're ready to decide. 60 seconds to decide. What should you eat? 60 seconds. Should you go to that event? 60 seconds. Should you send that message? 60 seconds. Your brain will scream. It'll say, but what about? Ignore it. That's the prison guard trying to keep you locked up. For every hour you spend thinking about something, you spend 10 minutes doing something. Anything. The ratio is 6-to-1 action to analysis. Flip your current equation, and here's your new standard of excellence. Good enough. Not perfect. Not optimal. Not ideal. Good enough. Then improve while doing, not before starting. Rule 2. Embrace strategic ignorance. This will feel wrong. You've been trained to gather all available information, to make informed decisions. But here's what they didn't tell you. More information past a certain point doesn't help. It paralyzes. You have enough information. Right now, for most decisions in your life, you already have enough. Stop seeking more data. Stop reading one more article. Stop asking one more person's opinion. You're not researching. You're procrastinating with credentials. Deliberately ignore variables you can't control. Can't change it? Then it's not part of your decision matrix. Cut it out. Practice the sacred art of fuck it. We'll figure it out. This is how empires get built, brother. Not by men who had all the answers. By men who had enough answers and the courage to move with incomplete information.